First, I'm not going to feign grief or feign mourning for this person. I know that's a hypocrisy that social etiquette demands at a moment like this, but we all know that he would certainly not grieve for us. He certainly would not mourn for us, just as he never grieved and he never mourned for the wanton slaughter of the Palestinians in Gaza. He never grieved for that. And for myself personally, as a Muslim and as a critic of Western so-called civilization, I know that Charlie Kirk himself would most likely have officially anyway considered me to be his enemy. And as far as I'm concerned, any man whose enemy mourns him when he dies, well, he wasn't doing his job.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel once again. So guys, since the death of Charlie Kirk, we have seen majority of people, they have come out and shared their views. We have seen others coming out and celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk, and also we have been seeing those who were supporters of Charlie Kirk. They came out and cry because of losing Charlie Kirk. So in today's video, we are going to see this deep analysis by Shahid Bolsen. Shahid Bolsen, he has come out and revealed the hidden truth of Charlie Kirk death, and also he has said a lot of things that you need to hear it till the end. So kindly guys, I want you to watch this video till the end, then I'll be back with more comment. All credits goes to the original creator of the video. I'm your host Dash Lifestyle. Remember, this video, it is only for educational purpose.
Okay, so they want me to talk about this boy, Charlie Kirk, who got shot in Utah. Him getting shot in Utah makes him, I believe, American number 18,533 who got shot in the U.S. this year, shot and killed. And I think that there were 3 more people who were killed, shot and killed in Colorado, just over the mountains, within hours of his shooting. And all the flags in America are going to fly half-mast, not for those 18,335 other victims, but they're going to fly half-mast for Charlie Kirk. That's just an observation. You can do with it what you will. I'll be honest, when I first heard that he had been shot, I made a joke about it on X, because frankly, I'm just as used to theatrics coming out of America as I am used to gun violence coming out of America, and I thought that theatrics seemed more likely in this case. But when I did learn that he died, I deleted my post. I deleted it out of respect, not for him, but for the severity and for the solemnity of the judgment that he has now proceeded to. Because everything that he ever said and everything that he ever did that harmed anyone, well, he's going to answer for that. He's going to answer for that right now in his meeting with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the heaviness of that meeting is disturbing to any of us who believe in it. But we'll talk about it. Let's start with the obvious, okay? First, I'm not going to feign grief or feign mourning for this person. I know that's a hypocrisy that social etiquette demands at a moment like this, but we all know that he would certainly not grieve for us. He certainly would not mourn for us, just as he never grieved and he never mourned for the wanton slaughter of the Palestinians in Gaza. He never grieved for that. And for myself personally, as a Muslim and as a critic of Western so-called civilization, I know that Charlie Kirk himself would most likely have officially anyway considered me to be his enemy. And as far as I'm concerned, any man whose enemy mourns him when he dies, well, he wasn't doing his job. And I don't think it can be said about Charlie Kirk that he didn't do his job, which is to say that he never did anything and he never said anything in his public life that would make me mourn his passing, just as I hope that I will never say or do anything in my public life that would make my enemies grieve for my passing. They should be happy when I die. Enemies are disturbed by each other's presence, not by each other's absence. But let me also be crystal clear about this. It doesn't make me happy either. I neither mourn nor celebrate. Neither of those reactions is appropriate, in my opinion. Whoever pulled that trigger didn't do it for me, and they didn't do it for you. I don't even see them as being on 2 different sides. They didn't silence Charlie Kirk. They amplified Charlie Kirk. The power structure never cared about that boy. They used him. And he's more useful to them now than he was the day before. He's more useful to them dead than he was alive. Listen, you don't defeat someone like this, someone like a Charlie Kirk, a tool like him, by letting that tool mold you into exactly what they want you to be. That killer didn't deliver justice. If you think they did, he didn't. He delivered to the power structure an even more enhanced weapon. He made a mediocre, but dangerous and polarizing figure, Charlie Kirk, into now an impeachable icon for the very fan base that he most likely despises. and he made criticism of Charlie Kirk's ideas. Now it's disrespect for the dead. This is not resistance. This is a gift. This is a gift to the very security state that he probably thought he was attacking. No, it's stupidity. Or maybe, as the conspiracy theories are already speculating, what actually happened was just a purge of an expendable asset to create a more powerful symbol. Oh, they'll use his death. Oh, how they will use it. They will use his death to paint every dissenting voice, every cry for a more just world. They'll paint it with the same bloody brush. They're going to use his death to avoid once again ever having to look in the mirror. They're going to hold Charlie Kirk's body up as a shield against any examination of the society that created him and the society that created his killer, the society that they made and that they rule, and you didn't do anything now but strengthen their hold on that society. They're going to use his corpse as a pulpit to preach from, and you just validated all the lies that they're going to be preaching. You understand me? Because listen, the truth is the Charlie Kirks of the world are not the enemy. The enemy is the society, it's the system, it's the power structure, it's the so-called civilization that creates boys like Charlie Kirk. I call him a boy because that's what he is to me. I'm 54 years old. That's what he is to me, or that's what he was. And also because he presented a childish, simplistic cartoon portrait of America that only a young boy could ever believe in. He presented an America without complexity, without guilt, without the burden of their terrible history. Well, that's a seductive product. And America has always been an eager market for that sort of a product. He existed because of supply and demand. You demand and the power structure supplies. The killer and the killed are the products of the same sick society. Kirk and his killer, and the other 18,535 victims and their killers. And wallahi, if you don't clock this reality, if you don't understand this reality, and if you let yourself get swept up in all the narratives and all the counter narratives, then you might just end up being like one of them, on one side or the other side of that gun. Because the machine is already spinning. The machine, that same machine that Charlie Kirk served so faithfully. They're spinning the narrative now. They're going to label him as a martyr for free speech, a victim of left-wing extremism. And they're going to use his death, they're going to use it to demand more surveillance, more censorship, more policing, more militarization of the police against their opponents, more police powers. They're going to use his blood to sanitize his ideology and to legitimize every poisonous thing that he ever said. And some of you are out here cheering about what happened. Well, you're fools. Why, when you celebrate, all you do is elevate and strengthen their narrative. Charlie Kirk was not an outlier. He was a product. He was the logical output of a system that's designed to generate exactly what he was. Like I said, he didn't create the demand. The demand was already there. He just exploited it. He sold a fantasy, like I say, a fantasy where all of the problems of modern America, economic decay, economic despair, cultural displacement, and cultural unrest, political powerlessness, these are all not the inevitable results of late-stage capitalism in a dying empire. No, it's all the fault of immigrants. It's all the fault of minorities, of wokeism, some internal enemy that's not in power. Well, now he's been killed. And his death is going to be used to service that same system. The security state benefits, the politicians that he supported benefit, the media benefits because they get endless hours now of content, of debate, of fear-mongering, of polarization mining. You understand me? The entire apparatus of control gets a massive boost. His killing was not an attack on the system. It was a gift to the system. You didn't extinguish a fire, you just scattered the embers and made it more dangerous. The individual who pulled that trigger, their motives are irrelevant. It doesn't matter if they saw themselves as a revolutionary or they saw themselves as a vigilante. Their actions serve a deeply counter-revolutionary purpose. You understand me? You didn't help Muslims. You didn't help so-called minorities. You didn't help immigrants. You didn't help women. You didn't help anyone. All you did was exactly what they created Charlie Kirk to goad you into doing. Please understand me. You contributed now. Whoever did this contributed to exactly the climate that they created Charlie Kirk to create. No, they're both servants of chaos. The killer and the killed. No, you don't need a bullet. You need a brain. You need a mind that can't be manipulated. You need an inflammable heart, a heart that can stay calm, cool, and collected when everything around you is in flames. That's what you need. And wallahi, you can't let the hatred of a people cause you to act unjustly, or to advocate or to endorse injustice, or to celebrate injustice. Don't let that boy's enmity towards us and ours towards him make you think that his murderer is our ally. No, you don't answer words with bullets. You know, back in the day, back in the time of the Sahaba, when the Muslims would fight against the kuffar, the kuffar, they would bring their drummers and they would bring their singing girls to egg them on. Nobody ever killed them. Well, that's what Charlie Kirk was. You don't win a war by targeting the singing girls and the drummers of your enemy. That's no strategy. I've said many, many times, you have to erect your partitions around your discourse, around your people, around what you let into your mind, or you're going to lose your focus and you're going to lose your purpose and you're going to get confused and you're going to make bad decisions. You're going to make wrong decisions, unjust decisions, immoral decisions, because you let yourself get provoked. No. For me personally, I didn't care about Charlie Kirk yesterday, the day before, and I don't care about him now. I don't mourn and I don't celebrate. That's strategic indifference. And I don't respect anyone who tries to tell me that I'm supposed to grieve. And I don't respect anyone who tells me that I'm supposed to be happy. What is he to me or me to him? He certainly isn't more important to me than the most likely hundreds of thousands of my brothers and sisters that you cut down in Gaza. You didn't mourn any of them, and I didn't tell you to, because I already know how you are. I already know that your performance of mourning over Charlie Kirk has nothing whatsoever to do with respect for human life. He was just a vessel for an ideology that you hold sacred. And it's an ideology that dehumanizes people. It's an ideology that disregards the sanctity of life. And we've seen that on full display for the last 2 years. So no, obviously not. I'm not the least bit interested in accommodating your weaponization of selective compassion and selective sympathy. Now, if you want to paint my indifference, if you want to spin my indifference as if it is approval of the crime that was committed, well, okay, I already know that you never do anything but lie anyway. And I know that you are from exactly the same manipulated, mutated, mutilated, and maladjusted population that created the demand that the power structure met by giving you Charlie Kirk, and that gave you his killer. Meaning you're just part of that mob in America, that same collective monster that's responsible for the American genocide of the indigenous people, that's responsible for genocides in Guatemala, genocides in Bangladesh, in Iraq, in Cambodia, in East Timor, in West Papua, and in Gaza. And you're the same collective monster that's responsible for every atrocity, every heinous crime that your country has ever committed. As far as I'm concerned, you poisoned Charlie Kirk's mind before he could even have a chance at a decent life, a moral life. And you poisoned the mind of the one who took the life that Charlie Kirk had. So spare me your counterfeit moralizing. No, you turned your country into a psychological and a spiritual torture chamber. And then your country turned the global south into a physical and an economic torture chamber. And now that system, that same system that you're serving, is turning inwards on you now. I told you that political violence, division, and terrorism, and civil unrest, and turmoil, I told you all this was going to be coming home. Why? Because that's your business model. That's your business model. And you're the only market left to vanquish. And the more you give yourself up to all these twisted, polarizing, hateful narratives, well, all you're doing is playing along with your own demolition.
You shouldn't celebrate someone dying because it's still a life loss. Is it though? Is Charlie Kirk a life loss, or did the devil just call home one of his disciples? I mean, they celebrated when they killed Martin Luther King and he was preaching peace. I think it's okay for people to be rejoicing in a white supremacist dying. I think that's all right. Mind you, he died doing what he loved, protecting gun rights. He said so famously that he believes that deaths are just sacrifices made to keep your Second Amendment, and he is indeed one of those sacrifices. And I'm going to be honest, better him than another innocent child just going to school, or an innocent person going to the grocery store, or an innocent person going to church, or an innocent person just being on the subway, or an innocent person literally anywhere dying from gun violence. That man spent the last few years of his life peddling racism, white supremacy, xenophobia, sexism, and all things detrimental to a productive society. He was the embodiment of bigotry, and him dying in this way was very poetic. And I don't feel bad.
It is worth it to have a cost of, unfortunately, some deaths in the United States so that we can have the Second Amendment. That is a quote by Charlie Kirk. Another thing he said was, I think empathy is a new age term that is causing a lot of damage to our society. Okay, Charlie. You said it. Now, don't get me wrong. I feel deeply for his family. There are people that cared about this man, and their pain is going to be monumental. And I feel for them. I really, really do. But try as I might, I just cannot feel bad about the loss of someone who has spread so much hate and made a career out of trying to take people's rights away. I just can't do it. I tried. I cannot do it. I'm sorry.
Right before Charlie Kirk got popped, someone asked him, do you know how many mass shootings have happened in America in the past 10 years? He replied, counting or not counting gang violence. Then pop, he was about to shift the blame for mass shootings on us. And now for some reason, 8 historically black colleges and universities are under threat. Campus lockdowns and all. All this because Charlie got popped in Utah, where the black population is 1.2%? What is it about whiteness that y'all can never blame yourselves? How did you come to the conclusion that you are as sinless as Christ himself? And now they want to put a statue of Lil Charlie in the U.S. Capitol, comparing him to the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Do you know what school Lil Charlie went to? That would give him the authority to speak on religion, to speak on race, to speak on politics. No, you don't. Because Lil Charlie dropped out of Harper College in Chicago. His first claim to fame was stopping a price increase on cookies at his high school. You can't make this up. Then he wrote an article for Breitbart, alleging liberal bias in textbooks. That affirmative actioned him in appearance on Fox Business. This is your king? Because the only one I know is Dr. King. PhD in systematic theology from Boston University. The one who wrote 5 books, who electrified the masses, and didn't have to cut his speeches into clips to do so. See, what y'all not gonna do is conflate these two legacies. Because Dr. King challenged America to live up to the democracy it claimed to be. Lil Charlie, he just repeated fascism, Christian fundamentalism, without critical thinking, might I add, misogyny, really anything that got him paid. America, not only are we not your scapegoat, you really don't even deserve to live in our shadows.
They want us to humanize Charlie Kirk now that he's gone. But let's be real, he spent his entire life denying humanity to literally everyone else. So don't expect softness now. This man wasn't just a conservative talking head. He called the Civil Rights Act a mistake. He said Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson was nothing more than a DEI hire. He smeared Dr. King, mocked black professionals, stoked fear of immigrants, and spent every breath turning white grievance into a brand. That's not political disagreement. That's a career built on stripping dignity away from entire groups of people. And here's the thing, right? The second he's gone, suddenly people want compassion. Suddenly it's about his family, his humanity, his legacy. Where was that energy when he was tearing ours down? When he was spitting on the humanity of black people, Latinos, immigrants, queer folks? We're supposed to forget the damage because the man is dead? Death doesn't erase the harm. Death doesn't clean a record. And let's not pretend that that shot was sloppy rage. It was too clean. It was too sharp. Whoever did it knew exactly what they were doing. And the irony is that Charlie worshipped that same culture of guns and violence. He fed it. He amplified it. And it came back for him. That's not karma. That's America. So no, I'm not going to rewrite his story into something soft. The only sympathy that I have is for his children, because they didn't ask for his poison. But for Charlie Kirk, he made it his life's mission to divide, belittle, and dehumanize. And that's exactly how history should remember him. Not as a victim, not as a martyr, but as the hateful man that he chose to be. I think it's time you meet one of my puppies. This is Kirk'S. This is Kirk'S. Me cookie. Aw, me cookie. That's my boy. That's my boy.
Charlie Kirk did not believe in empathy. He said it himself. And so while I feel it is very unfortunate that he has been unalive, I am not going to police other people and try to tell other people how they should feel, especially those that have been the target of many of his vile words, many of the things that he said, the divisiveness, etc. You cannot police and tell other people how they should feel when they have been hurt and truly affected by this man's words. So yes, I may have some empathy for his family, and I pray that his family becomes advocates against the very things that he stood for, such as racism, such as guns, such as divisiveness, and so many other things. I pray his family becomes advocates against those things, right? But I'm also not going to police and tell other people that they're wrong and they're this and that because they don't feel empathy. I'm not going to do that. I can't do that. And that's not in anyone's place to tell someone else how they should feel, especially those that have been targets.
I don't blame these Gen Z kids and their response to the Charlie Kirk murder. You clearly can see the divide on how the children of this country is being raised. You have a country of people with principles, ethics, and morals, and they instill that in their children early, and they have emotional response. Their emotional response to this tragedy tells you everything you need to know about their parents. Same thing with the left. You have these leftist teachers, leftist sympathizers, leftist legislators, all of these leftist institutions who have taken over the parental role and have no principles, have no morals, right? And you can see their response. Glee. They don't even know what they're celebrating. And then when there was this Republican senator, I forget where he was, or governor, he wants to put the 10 Commandments back into the schools. At first I was like, yo, it's separation between church and state. But now I understand. I'm picking up what he's putting down. Just that simple thing, the 10 Commandments, can go a long way of raising your kids and providing a prosperous life for them. Because those are the tenets. You know, like, thou shalt not kill, murder, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not bear false witness. You have a bunch of people bearing false witness, lying on Charlie Kirk and what he stood for. Never sat with the man, never sat and listened to any of his debates, never actually had a conversation, whether it's in front of thousands of people or privately behind the scenes. None of that. They're just jumping out the window. And you don't even need to do that. Just human decency. Just know that, wait a minute, thou shalt not murder. He was murdered. That don't sit right with me. Thou shalt not bear false witness. They lied to me about this. They lied to me about that. They took this statement out of context. You see how these simple things can just go a long way? But the leftists, they don't care about this country. They want to destroy it. It's literally, they want to take everybody on the ship down with them. And at this point, it's like, if you cannot see this with as much technology as we have, as much information that's readily available, like, at this point, there is no saving you. Only those who are seeking God's kingdom will be saved. Every knee will bow. Even the haters, even the demons are going to have to admit that Jesus is Lord. Like, the revenge belongs to the Lord. At the end of the day, revenge gets, like, as much as I want revenge, God, like, yo, come on, C's. You already know I got this. So I'm like, all right, Lord, but you can send me anyway. I'm like, you can send me anyway, use me, but hey, it's his. He has a funny way of bringing back justice. That's all I'm saying. So repent before it's too late.
So Charlie Kirk is gone, an extreme right-wing figure openly flirting with Nazism and Zionism, spreading racist and homophobic poison everywhere, but I am not here to debate whether he deserved it. Personally, I don't have any problem wishing that bad people stop existing, but that's morality, personal opinion, good and evil. And from a revolutionary perspective, it won't take us anywhere. If you want that debate, there are plenty of other accounts. I'm here to talk about what no one else is talking about. His death won't change anything. Sooner or later, another one will pop up, saying the same things, pushing the same agenda, spreading the same hate. Yeah, he was an awful person and I don't feel sorry at all, but despite that, bombs will keep falling. Children will still die from preventable diseases. Houses will stay empty while millions sleep on the streets. People will keep starving even though humanity produces enough food. Genocides, colonialism, oppression, none of that ends with Kirk's death. Because Kirk was just a product of the system, same as Trump, Netanyahu, Musk, Pinochet, or any billionaire parasite you can name. And when one of them goes down, the system replaces them instantly. Remember the CEO who got shot allegedly by Luigi? No one even talks about it anymore. Someone took his place and the machine keeps moving. And that's because people like Kirk are not the root problem. They are just symptoms. It's like being allergic to shrimp. You eat shrimp, you have a reaction, you take antihistamines. Then you eat shrimp again, and the reaction happens again. If you want to solve the problem, you stop eating shrimp. Otherwise, you'll be popping pills forever. It's the same here. Stop blaming individuals, start dismantling capitalism. Real change comes from organization, from discipline, from constant collective action, from mobilizing hearts and minds into revolutionary parties, movements, and organizations. That's how we fight capitalism. That's how we fight imperialism. Not by celebrating when one face disappears while the machine keeps grinding. So we, revolutionaries, need to use this moment of hype wisely. Do not waste it on empty emotions about Kirk's death. Because unless we are organized, his replacement is already waiting in line.
The issue with people split on the Charlie Kirk situation is simply a knowledge gap. The amount of people running with getting got over political beliefs is never okay, they're first and foremost correct. But if you're saying that in reference to Charlie Kirk, you're putting him in the same box as people who actually died for their political beliefs. People like Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Nat Turner. I would have thought of some white names, but that doesn't really happen to y'all outside of like JFK. But JFK and Harvey Milk. But those men died for their beliefs. Charlie Kirk died for his hate speech. This man is on record claiming that rape statistics are based on lies from women. That is hate speech. He is quoted saying that he is okay with more gun violence, schools or otherwise, as long as he gets to keep his guns. Y'all are asking me, what about his kids? He didn't care about yours. He gets gotten to school after saying all that, and now it's time to have a heart? A political belief is that taxes should go to schools. F who dies, as long as I can stay strapped, is hate speech. You're asking me to have empathy for a human quoted saying. I can't stand the word empathy, actually. I think empathy is a made-up New Age term. It does a lot of damage. That is also hate speech. That is someone that values guns more than you, your school-age child, or any woman you care about, or their human life. Mind you, if you actually see the video, he gets asked about mass shootings in the past 10 years. Charlie immediately deflects to ask the guest if he means gang violence or just regular mass shootings. Not only did he care about guns more than you, he was actively throwing Black, Latino, really any American group affected by the gang member stereotype under the bus with his last breath. And so this is also hate speech. But the amount of Black people, people of color, bending over backwards online to defend a man like that is crazy. Seeing a good portion of y'all do that with the Bible is also insane, because that man is in hell. If you're more upset about the reaction to how he left this earth in comparison to how the way he lived life on this earth led to those consequences, you either don't know who that man was, and I give you a pass, or you have the privilege to be in a group that feels unaffected, so you don't care. But you don't like seeing all the hard language online because you don't feel like your life is that hard. I hope y'all defend that man to your last breath, because moving like he did, it might not speed up the trip, but it is gonna get you a one-way ticket down there with him. And I'm sure he's looking up at all of us right now, thanking you very specifically for your support.
So guys, I hope you have watched that video and you have seen how Shahid Bolsen, he has come out and said about the death of Charlie Kirk. Since Charlie Kirk died, we have been seeing a lot of reaction. Other people, they were celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk, and others, they were really sad. Those Charlie Kirk supporters, they were really crying. They were really crying for losing their fellow people, someone who were looking up to. But majority of the people, that the ones who came out and celebrate the death of Charlie Kirk. And also, right now we are seeing that in America, those people who were celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk, they are now getting fired in their jobs. They are now being fired. Just imagine, you are just being fired for celebrating someone's death. So this one, it is to tell you that Americans right now, they are really serious. They don't want to see Charlie Kirk, people celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk. They don't want to see. If they find you celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk, you are getting fired. So this one, I have some of the comment here that I want to read it for you and see what people they have come out and say. So this one saying that he never grieved for children that were murdered. So you can see there are children which were murdered, and Charlie Kirk, he didn't grieved with them. So, and majority of people, they were saying that Charlie Kirk, he didn't he was not having empathy from the people of the color. So majority of people, they were saying that Charlie Kirk, he was a racist person. Yeah, he was really a racist person. He believed that the crime which it is happening in America, it was being done with the black people, the minority. So that's why you can see majority of people, especially the people of the color, they didn't love Charlie Kirk. So this one saying that why should I cry over the death of a person who didn't not regard me as human? Yeah, so you can see. So this one is saying that what has Kirk done to improve the life of humanity in general? Yeah, so this one is asking the question, what has Charlie Kirk done to improve the life of humanity in general? So this one is saying that forget this guy, he was not worth your attention. Yeah, so this one is saying that let us forget this guy. So this one saying that I am a European American, and he was a repulsive and disgusting person who spread hate and racism. Not a moment of mourning or grief for him at all. Yeah, so this one saying that he doesn't have time of grieving for Charlie Kirk. So this one saying that as a black American, why should I feel remorse for him? Yeah, why should a black person feel remorse for Charlie Kirk? Because they believe that Charlie Kirk, he was one-sided. He didn't love the people of the color. So he believed that the things the violence, mass shooting which it is happening in America, it is all brought with the people of the color. So this one saying that true fact, never will I ever grieve for that person. He died spreading hate. Yeah, so this one saying that Charlie Kirk died spreading hate. And we all know that Charlie Kirk, he was unalive when he was doing his tour in Utah University, where that's when he got shot. So this one saying that Babylon is falling. Yeah, so Babylon is falling, and these people, they are now fighting each other. So this is to tell you that with all things which it is happening in America, this one, it is to show you that Babylon is falling, and right now the people, they have started fighting each other, especially the white folks. So this one saying that Shahid Bolsen is 100% correct about how they will use this man Kirk name. Yeah, so Shahid Bolsen has come out that and said that these people, they will use Kirk name for gaining, for their spreading their agendas, racism agenda. So this one is saying that I should shout out to Shahid Bolsen, big up. So this one saying that as an farm boy myself, I have never mourned chicken coming home to roast. So this one saying that this is the first time I have ever heard of him, absolutely, because he was not that important. Yeah, so this one is saying that when hate gets sick of you, it will eventually lay you down. Exactly. So this one is saying when hate gets sick of you, it will eventually lay you down. So this one is saying that I don't give a flying shit about that man. So this one is saying that the sermon that the gentleman gave about Charlie Kirk is absolutely spot on. Yeah, so this one saying that I don't know who Charlie Kirk was. I don't believe that God shielded me from knowing this individual. So this one saying that he didn't care about us. Why should we care about him? Exactly. So right now we are seeing that American flag, it has been flagged halfway just to give a respect to Charlie Kirk, or to tell the nation that they are mourning to someone special. But you can see Charlie Kirk, he was spreading, it was like he was like a racist person, because he believed that the all problems which it is in America, it is being brought by the people of the color. And why is American as a country? Because we all know that we have black Americans, we have Indians America. It is I know majority of people in America, they are white, but also we are having these other races in America. We are having the black people, we are having the Indian, the Chinese. But you can see these people chose just to bring the flag down because of Charlie Kirk, because he's a white person. But you have been seeing there were children which they were murdered. We have seen how black people that have been dying in America, but these people, they didn't have to bring, they do not bring the flag halfway. So this one is to tell you that America, it is one-sided. So this the palm color, they are really pushing out the people of the color. So this one saying that they are obsessed with black folks. Yeah, so this one saying that they are really upset with. So this one is saying that I am not even in the USA, but I want to know why everyone is being forced to feel sympathy for this man. Surely in a democracy, a person can choose to whom they give sympathy. Having heard his rhetoric, even though I am not in the USA, he would most probably have spoken about the black community here where I am the same way. So in solidarity with my American brother and sister, my sympathy is on hold. Yeah, so this was so this was saying that I want to know why everyone is being forced to feel sympathy for this man. This is part right here. Say it. Yeah, right now America, it is a democratic. We have democracy in America, and it is you are right if you want to give a sympathy to a person or not. So it is up to you. But right now we are seeing that America, it is forcing people to have sympathy for Charlie Kirk. And also we have been seeing people who have been celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk, they are now getting fired. So you can see this is like America, it is forcing people to have sympathy towards Charlie Kirk. So this was saying that why should people be mourning for him, especially when he was so racist. So this one saying that live by the live by the sword, die by the sword. So this one saying that this man is speaking the truth for real. Yeah, Shahid Bolsen is speaking truth for real. So this one said that I'm not going to feel sorry for his children. They will be well off since his company is worth millions. There are so many children facing food insecurity in this country. Yeah, so this is the absolutely best take on America and Charlie Kirk. So this is saying that I have zero empathy for him or his family. He spewed so much hate towards black people. Yeah, so this one is saying that whom I did not know Charlie didn't know about what he stood on. Hearing this is crazy. Leaving this earth with a negative impact is terrible, terrible SMH. Somehow he will have to answer for his action during judgment. Yeah, so guys, you can see these are some of the comments that majority of people that are coming out and share, and also you have heard from Shahid Bolsen. So kindly guys, subscribe if you haven't subscribed, like this video, share, and also comment. See you on my next one. Bye bye guys.